Bloody hell, Dave. We're going to be on YouTube. I in no way associate with this man. Hello, Captain VFC here with an unboxing stroke first impressions video. Today looking at the DH60GIII Moth Major from Amodel. I am very open about the fact that I have a rather unhealthy obsession with the De Havilland Tiger Moth. This is one of my dozen or so Airfix examples, here painted in a lovely mid-blue, white wings, one of the hatches open. It is a fantastic kit. It is one of the reasons why I even make models today, but more on that another time. So it should come as no surprise that I also have a thing for the DH60. A little bit about this kit. It was released in 2014 under 7 different versions, be it different engines, metal construction or fabric construction, X-bracing in various places, the usual sort of thing. It has since been re-released under the Avis brand. Is it Avis? Avis? Arvis? Who knows? With floats. And that is in 2015 and 2016, I believe. So this example I bought maybe a couple of years ago, so I guess they produced enough of them in 2014 to keep them in constant supply. So let's take a quick look at the box first. As you can see, you have this lovely little painting on the front of one of the versions. The product code 72283, just typical blue Amodel branding. You have a little history of the plane in multiple languages. I say multiple languages. It's 2 languages. It is English and Russian. And on this side, it talks about the kit in English and Russian. On the back, we have other aircraft that they make. All of them DH60s. I like this box. It has the right amount of DH60s. All. And yet, of course, this is only 5 out of the 7 that they do in total, so happy days. The box is not sealed. One, I've already opened it, and 2, it doesn't come sealed. So as I just picked it up now, it opened. So, you know, all you haters, tough shit. And there's the end for those of you who like the end of boxes. You strange bunch, you. So let's take a look inside. Everything comes in this little zip tie bag. We have some plastic sprues. There's a clear, I was going to say clear plastic. It's not, it's a clear bit of paper. And some instructions. Which is good because I don't have my knife with me. So, let's open it up. And here we go. So, let's work top to bottom. We have the fuselage with a tail wing. Now, this is listed, well, this bit here is listed as sprue A, and this bit here is listed as sprue G and 3. Excellent. It says DH60 there, so at least we know it's the right plane. This, I don't know why it says A and why it says G. Is that bit G and that bit A maybe? But this is the bit of the kit which of course will change with the different releases, because this is the part containing the engine, the Moth Major being a completely different shape to the Genet Moth or the Cirrus Moth. So I assume that this is a deliberately small sprue so that they can just replace the fuselage in various releases. And then here we have 4 wheels. You see we've got 2 big wheels and 2 little wheels. Again, lots of different versions for this kit. And the plastic itself is, it's not brilliant. It's not bad. It's not brilliant. It looks a little soft, a little bit low res. There's an instrument panel here, which is fine. It's fine. I'm slightly concerned by the wing struts because they are attached in a way that's going to make them an absolute ball ache to remove. But oh well, it's what you get for buying a limited run kit. This is, oh yeah, this one was sprue unlabeled. So you have sprue AG3, sprue D with the tail. We have a propeller blade. We have another tail. We have more propeller blades. And we have a ridiculously long exhaust. And then finally, logically, sprue B1. And these contain just the wings. Just the wings, only the wings, nothing but the wings. And again, the plastic looks fine. I mean, it's not amazing, but the detail, I don't know if it's going to pick up the detail on the wings, but you can see it's got a fabric representation. You can see the spars underneath. You have a sort of hole to mark where the struts go. In fact, I don't even think that's where the struts go. No, the struts don't even go there, but there's a hole there anyway. But we'll ignore that. I'm sure there's a reason for it. Oh no, hang on, that's the underneath. That's the bottom wing. Ignore me! There we go. Not too bad, not too shabby. The decals are included. I don't hold high hopes. In fact, as we're about to see, they're not great. But they'll do. Hopefully, as long as I'm careful with them, they'll be fine. So now, a look at the instructions. There we go. DH60GIII Moth Major with a reproduction of the box art in black and white on the paper, telling you the span is 126mm, length 102mm, and parts 60. Interesting. Is that 60 parts in the tooling, or is that 60 parts that I need to make this kit? It is interesting to note, of course, that because they've put this as the front cover, this is not the same set of instructions for all 7 releases, quite clearly. I mean, it wouldn't really work, would it? With different engines, maybe? I don't know. We once again have the history of the plane. We have some symbols that have been used to help you understand what's going on, and they use Humbrol colours to tell you what to paint where, and they use that wonderful system of letters. So you have to see a letter, and then go back to here to see which number that relates to, rather than just printing the number on the instructions. I don't know why they've done that. They just have, but I can read, so as long as I don't get too drunk before making it, we should be all right. Here is the sprue map. It tells us which parts are not to be used. Unsurprisingly, for a single-engined biplane, we do not need 2 of the propeller blades of the 3 provided, and we only need 1 tail. Huh, shocker. Think of all the spares you can have. An abundance of tails. But there we go. And it tells us that that is sprue A, so I don't know where the other numbers and letters come from, but there's B1. So we've got sprue B1 there, sprue A. There we go. And assembly is pretty much as you'd expect. A couple of seats on a flat plank. Stick it inside. Fuselage together. Whoop, there you go. Fuselage together. Build the plane. It sort of jumps a little bit. Assemble aircraft. And we are done. Look, just a loose bit of paper. No staple or anything. Turn it over. Undercarriage. And that is it. 7 steps. 7 steps. And one of them has a lot of parts in it, but 7 steps. Easy. Here we have the colour call-outs beautifully printed in black and white. Some of the colours looking quite similar, so this might cause confusion to anyone who is not an already at least intermediate modeller. It does not give us any history about these options whatsoever. It just says DH60GIII. Thank you, we could tell that from the box. This one here is a Spanish one. This one here is a Spanish one. Down here, we have a Spanish one. And then if we turn over, this has 5 whole options. The 4th one being a Spanish one. And finally, a civilian British aircraft. And I mean, it looks fine. It tells you what colours to paint, where the decals go. We'll have to wait until the build to see if they actually translate to the decals provided, as some companies, not naming KP's name, tend to just make life a mystery and, omit things like that. So that is a quick look at the kit. I have actually made this kit before, and here is the result. This is the Cirrus Moth, so it has a different fuselage because of the Cirrus engine, and it is painted in the same De Havilland blue colour that I painted the Tiger Moth that I showed earlier in, with the more standard silver wings. I did not do a particularly good job of this. In some spaces it was rushed, and in others it was left for months, but I remember enjoying it, and that's one of the reasons, other than my just love for De Havilland biplanes, one of the reasons why I bought another one. I do intend to do a better job. I could have used some filler. As we can see, we have a few spots which could have done with some filler, and a few of the decals have started falling apart. this was not the easiest kit to put together. It was fine. It was fine. So we're going to see how well I can do this time. It's got a reasonable interior, as you can see. That big old exhaust that was a feature on the Cirrus Moth. And just generally, not a bad plane at all. So I am going to, no surprises here, do the British option with this kit, which is the blue one. Oh, I missed a bit. Good thing I didn't lose it. The windscreen in a little bag. Look, it's just basically paper. I didn't even put them on that kit because I hate this. I just don't like these. I just don't. At least the Airfix one has actual injection molded ones, which, yes, they're way too big and a little bit silly in some respects, but, well, I'm just lazy. So one of the reasons why I'm going for the blue one, other than wanting a matching trio, is because of this truly fantastic book, De Havilland Moths in Detail. This is a truly excellent reference guide, and it just so happens that if you turn to page 113, you have the actual GACNS in full detail. So there we go. Look, there's even another moth in the background over there. I think, in fact, that one features in the book as well, so clearly they did profiles of multiple of them on the same day. And this shows you where sort of how the rigging goes together, a full walk around, shows the colour in depth. This book is absolutely fantastic. Look, there's the Moth Major engine. There we go. It's a Gypsy Major engine. I've been saying it wrong this whole time. It's a Gypsy Major engine. Good Lord. Just had to read the book. So there we go. That was a brief look at this kit. First impressions are irrelevant because I've already made it. And I already know that it's a decent kit that just needs a bit of effort. But what do you think? Am I going to mess it up? Am I going to make a decent plane? Am I going to do a better job? Or am I just going to get drunk and buy 10 more before I even finish it? Comment below, please. Like, subscribe, do all those wonderful things that YouTube praises me and you for. Pretending it praises you because it's more likely to get you to do the thing. And I may have already done this by the time you go on my Twitch page and follow. But if you follow me on Twitch, you will see me building kits, usually once a week, sometimes more, when I just get bored. And you can distract me by making sound alerts go blah in my face while I'm trying to make a kit. And it just makes me feel better. So do that or don't. But always, always obey the algorithm.